Years a Slave and Roots, and it's like, oh my God, it's praising this slavery movie. I'm like, come on, slavery was not good.
Yeah.
It wasn't something to be praised. It's something to be highlighted and documented, and for us to really talk about and get in depth and be like, hey, you need to know that this happened. But it's not something that we should be praising. It's something that we as black people know it happened. We know it's there. We know it's existed.
Yeah.
So we talk about it. But anytime we do, get over it. It's okay.
Yeah.
And we can move on. Like, I put out this post the other day, and it was like saying that with 9/11, 9/11 happened on one day, and forever they're saying like, oh, you can never forget 9/11. You can never forget. Slavery happened for how many years? But but people want to keep telling us, oh, get over it.
Get over it. That's the thing, man. Like, it's for the people that haven't been through it. They don't care.
100.
They don't care. It's just like, oh, well, I was the one that was your slave master, or I wasn't the one there. My ancestors were. It's a new era now, so just let it be. Just let it be. It's like, no, like, what happened to us, it ruined us. It ruined our race. Like, we don't know what life would be like if we weren't slaves. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could have been in Africa still. We could have done something else. We could have fought back and won. We could have enslaved the white man instead of them enslaving us in Africa and make them build our stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, there could have been so much different scenarios that would have happened, but this is the one that we had, and this is the one that we have to deal with to this day.
Yeah. And unfortunately, slavery hasn't ended.
Yeah.
Slavery isn't over. It's still going on.
It's still going on in the daily lives. There's corporate slavery as well. There's slavery everywhere, man.
Yeah, the only difference is that everybody's feeling it.
Yeah. 100%.
People don't want to talk about it, but everybody's feeling it. Regardless of wherever you are somebody's slave. They're slaving you to to working like 9 to 5. We're at for like $13 an hour. It's like, yeah, you're getting paid, but the amount of manual labor or whatever you're having to put in just to make that money, you're a slave to that company. They don't care about you. They don't care what you're doing.
You're just a number.
Yeah.
You're just
sad, man. Sickening.
So since we're talking about R&B before, right? So who do you think is trying to bring back R&B to its glory days? For me personally, I thought it was Chris Brown. When he first came out, Chris Brown, I'll put Neil there. I'll kind of put Jay Holiday. Those three guys.
Yeah.
But the person that was mostly on top was Chris Brown. Yeah. But we as a culture, we ruined Chris Brown.
Oh yeah, we destroyed Chris Brown. We as like society, as a black culture, as culture itself, we destroyed what Chris Brown could have been. Yes. Like he was on a high, he was running on a high and whatever, and then the whole Rihanna thing happened, and that destroyed his life. That destroyed who he was, because he was on this happy run. Yeah. He was doing songs where he was like feeling good and like making everybody try to feel good. He was kind of like what Michael Jackson was doing. He's trying to make everybody feel nice and
the dance moves.
Doing the dancing and everything to make you feel good. And then the Rihanna thing happened, and then all of a sudden he became a bad boy.
Cause that's the thing, people didn't want to let it go, and they kept on picking at him for that. Of course, it'll make it go kind of crazy, but I know certain other artists from different races do much more horrible things than that, and they let it go. Like, they brush it to the side, or it happened once, we'll let it be. But for him, it's like wherever he goes, Rihanna be there, or this, that, and third. It happened one time, call it a day. Let the man I'm not saying forgive him. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying let the man process what he did, let him recover it, and go from there. Don't try to have that as a dark cloud around him for the rest of his life. Because whenever you're going to bring it up or attack him, you're not doing him justice. Like, he was on the rise of becoming the next Michael. Like, his catalog alone was nice. Like, he was there.
Yeah.
But we as a people were bringing him down. He came back, brought him down. Came back harder, brought him back down harder. To the point, it's like, what's the point of even singing anymore? What's the point of even dancing anymore? Let me just chill if you guys are gonna do me like this. Because I think he was, I don't want to say the last hope of R&B. But at that time, the early 2000s or mid 2000s, he was
on a high, man.
He was on the one that was bringing back R&B to his glory days.
And he was a young cat, and I was like, I wasn't really like the saying like, oh yeah, Chris Brown. He was a young cat, and he was like doing his thing. So I was like, you know what, I'll give him some props. You know, just like what's his face, Justin Bieber. I never liked that kid. Never liked him. I was never a quote unquote believer. Wasn't one of them. But then I heard his song "I Just Need Somebody to Love." That song was nice.
Okay.
With him and Usher, Usher gave him some clout with that song. And then he started to do like he did the typical white people things. He did the typical white people things. Sorry if it started racist, but he did the typical white people things like peeing in the mop bucket and playing music loud and crashing your Ferrari. Like, he did a typical, like, I'm a young white kid with a lot of money and I can just get away with it.
He ha 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 ha.
Yeah. And then, like, all of a sudden trying to start fights with people and whatnot. I'm like, yo, you're that privileged, you're becoming that privileged white kid. Like, you're not ready for this. You're not ready for this life. And it's like, but then here's the funny part. He did all these things that people were like bashing him, but then he comes back and is like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Please, just give me a chance. I know I can be better. Okay, we'll give you a chance. We'll let you back in." Chris Brown said, "Yo, I'm sorry. You know, I know what I did. I made a mistake." He took some time away.
Yeah. And
then tries to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to try and make a comeback.
Yeah.
No, Chris Brown, you're not allowed to make a comeback because you hurt our top celebrity. Look, let me tell you something right now. The only reason why Chris Brown's career ended is because he hit a celebrity girl. He hit a black celebrity. If Rihanna was not Rihanna, nobody would have cared.
Or I think it'd been worse if Rihanna was white.
Oh, come on now! If Rihanna was white, look what happened to Kobe Bryant.
Kobe.
If it was and what made it worse for Kobe? He was with a white girl. He was married to a white woman.
She's Spanish.
Don't matter. She's light skinned. I know she's Espanol, but then she's Espanol, and he cheated on her with a white girl, and everybody was like, "Oh, Kobe, what are you doing?"
I feel like it was our black women that ruined Chris Brown. Like, they were the one that was bashing him the most. They were the ones that didn't want to give him a second shot. So like they're the ones that I'm not saying ruined his greatness, but stopped his
momentum.
Yeah.
You know, I feel this is one of the things I feel horrible about is that, you know, a lot of things get stopped, momentum gets stopped by black women, and they don't realize how much power they have to like end somebody's career. Tay Diggs, he had a show on TV called Daybreak. It was way back in the day. That show only went to like I think 13 episodes, and the reason being is because he was married to, like, in the show, his character was married to a white woman. And black women didn't like that. And I shit you not, I read the articles on it, and it's like black women were boycotting the show. They loved Tay Diggs, but then when they found out he had a white wife on the show, and then they researched Tay Diggs and they found out that he's actually married to a white woman in real life. He has a white wife. They boycotted. You notice how like Tay Diggs was running on a high.
Yeah, he was on a lot of TV shows.
He was on a lot of shows. He had a lot of movies, and women were loving Tay Diggs. Then they found out that he was married to a white woman, and his career just went down.
Fuck, man.
Like he still has a career.
Yeah.
He still can do things, but where he was at, to what happened to him, just because he was married to a white woman, and I think that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like you can't knock somebody just because they're not with what you like, quote unquote, think. That's why I said like you're the most racist people around. Honestly, black people, we're the most racist because we're the ones like we hate when racism is put towards us, but we're the first ones to be racist to our own. We're the first ones to hate our own and hate on our own for some racist crap.
Why do you think that is, though?
Jim Crow. Jim Crow and Willie Lynch. Have you ever heard about the Willie Lynch syndrome?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, the Willie Lynch syndrome was basically this guy, Willie Lynch, back in the day, basically was teaching, like he had his own slave plantation. And he was, like they were trying to keep their slaves in line in America. So they're trying to figure out how to keep the best way of keeping their slaves in line. Willie Lynch taught them that you have to keep your slaves, separate your slaves. So you have your light-skinned slaves and you have your dark-skinned slaves. You have the muscular slaves and the weaker slaves. And you have basically treat the lighter-skinned slaves a little bit nicer than you treat your dark-skinned slaves. And your dark-skinned slaves stay out in the field. Your light-skinned slaves can be in the house. They're not part of the house, but they can be in the house and serve the master and have a more comfortable life. While the darker skinned slaves stay outside in the field, gotta work the cotton and pick the cotton and do all that kind of stuff. And then you build a divide between them and you build a hatred between the two of them. And then that hatred, like even though we got freedom, that hatred still stayed. Cause like there was like really stupid in the early 90s. There was this thing where they said all of a sudden, oh, light skin is in. Light skin is in.
I remember a documentary like that.
Yeah, so all the light skinned people, if you looked at all the celebrities, all the black celebrities that were really getting loved were all the light skinned celebrities. And then all of a sudden in the early, like when in the 2000s, there was a switch. Dark skin is in. We like our chocolate sisters. We like our dark-skinned people.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, guys like Tay Diggs, Idris Elba, Denzel Washington. Denzel started getting so much love. Anybody, Forrest Whitaker, all dark-skinned artists started getting pure love.
I'll say Forrest and Denzel, they're more brown than dark-skinned.
Well, you know, like, look, compared.
I'll say Tyrese is a dark-skinned brother.
Yeah, Tyrese is one of them dark-skinned brothers. But, you know, I gotta be... Oh, yeah, Tyrese as well. Tyrese was one of those guys that was doing the R&B thing,
yeah,
too.
100%.
He was real big with in the R&B scene. Yeah, but, you know, I'm sorry, Tyrese, you killed your own career. It's not anybody's fault. It's not anybody's fault. You know, you killed your career by doing Baby Boy. Baby Boy's, like, shot you. Like, it propelled you, but it also shot you at the same time.
Why are you saying that?
Well, because the scene where he's like, yo... I got chopped by some little niggas. That scene made him look like a man. Some young guys come and beat you up and rob you.
I see what you're saying.
And then he's like, I don't know what to do. These little niggas beat me up. And then your boy, who doesn't really seem like he should be that hard. He doesn't have that, he has that unassumingness of being hard. Comes, rolls up on them, beats them down, robs them for your stuff, takes his belt off and starts whipping these kids in front of you. Yo, made you look like a punk. Sorry. Made him look like a bitch.
And he was light skinned.
Yeah, he was light skinned. Right? And that's the worst part. It's like that he killed he shot himself by doing the Baby Boy. I understand why he did it, because it was a big movie. Yeah. It was a big movie at the time. And then you got beat up by and another thing, you got beat up by Snoop Dogg. Really, dude? Really? You got beat up by Snoop Dogg? You're scared of Snoop Dogg? You're scared of Snoop Dogg. I understand the whole thing about Snoop Dogg being a crib, but you're scared of Snoop Dogg in the movie? He was the villain, the big bat? Get out of here. Get out of here. I'd understand if it was Vin Rames.
Yeah.
Then I would be like, yo, yeah, you gonna get your ass kicked. It's Vin Rames. But Snoop Dogg? Really? Nah. I do like Latinos. Yeah.
Oh, man. But speaking of that, we were talking about the R&B stuff and this and that and third. I think R&B will come back. Like, everything in style, shit comes back in style. I think there's a certain young guys right now, they're doing their own thing, trying to bring back the feel to R&B. Hopefully, they'll have the 90s feel to it, because I'm not trying to have a nice voice talking about strippers and throwing money at them, or
You basically don't want a T-Pain.
or drugs and stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, that being said, our next segment, we're talking about this earlier on today.
Okay.
Do you think love is blind, or in better terms, do you believe at love at first sight?
No, I do not. I do not believe in love at first sight. You can tell me that. You can tell me differently.
Nah, I think I'm in the same boat.
I'm gonna tell you, you tell me why. I'm gonna tell you why not.
I don't believe in love at first sight.
Okay.
Because I personally seen people being in a relationship for like 5 to 10 years plus, about to get married, and one of the partners go on a vacation, let's say Vegas, and they meet somebody there, and they kick it off to the point they want to move to Vegas and leave their partner that they've been with for 5 to 10 years. Is that love at first sight? Maybe. But do I believe it personally? No, because if you have a nice connection, like I said at the first podcast, a connection, a bond, that builds over time.
Yeah.
That does not build over your first interaction. You may see like, yo, damn, that girl's attractive, or damn, that guy's hot. And then everything that comes out their mouth is just hot garbage.
Yeah.
You get turned off. But if you see that person, yo, that person's attractive, and you keep on talking, and the talking is intriguing, and it gets your blood bubbling, you know? You get more hooked. That's not love at first sight. You're just, I guess, paving the way for the love that happened. So I don't agree with love at first sight. I believe that people assume love and love at first sight is real, because how that person makes you feel, I guess, physically, but not mentally.
Okay. Well, okay. My thing is, the whole theory of love at first sight is not real. The whole thing of love at first sight was created. It was created for romance novels. It was created because men don't operate like that. It's a woman's thing. And the reason why I say it's a woman's thing, because it's that whole, I want to feel that love at first sight. I want to feel that connection that I first see him and I'm just like, oh. Yeah. No, not real. There's no such thing as love at first sight. It's lust. Lust at first sight. The first time you see anything, whether take it out of context of a person. When you see some type of food that's just sitting on the table, and you see it and you're just like, oh my God, that looks so good, I want that. That is your brain and your chemicals and your body just making you feel like, I need this, I want this, this is what I want. So it's that lustful intent of wanting to get that, right? And then you get it and you eat it and you're just like, yo, this is disgusting. Why did I eat this? This is horrible. It's like, yeah, because visually you wanted it, you saw it. You ever said, you hear that saying is like, I can't even remember the saying. My mom says it to me all the time. But it's like you see something and you're hungry for it. But then when you get it, you're like, yo, why did I get this?
Yeah.
I should have never got this in the first place. Yeah. That's the whole thing with relationship, with the whole thing of love at first sight. It's lust. You see somebody from across the room and you're just like, yo, I gotta get that.
Yeah.
I gotta have that. You know nothing about that person. You know nothing about them. But all you're saying is like, I want that.
You have to have it.
I gotta have it. I want that. So you lust after that thing. So you go after it. And it can go either way. You can get it and then be like, yeah, man, I don't want this. Why did I get this? Why did I take this? Should I never take this in the first place, man? This I walk. This waste. Or it's like, yo, I'm so glad I got this. This was so worth it. There's so much I've gotten from getting this. And it's like, yeah, you develop, and it develops into love. Right? It develops into that whole thing about love. When people say it's like, when I first saw it was love at first sight. No, it wasn't. It was, that looked good. It's not love, man. Love is something that develops over time. It doesn't come like one day or like in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's just like you see it and it's like, oh, you want to get, like, for instance, you see a car and you're like, oh my God, I want that.